right, really quick, I'm gonna show you how to check the transmission fluid in this Northstar engine. And I'm gonna be honest, like this car came in just really quick. I swear I'm gonna give you a minute, but I'm talking. So the car came in not operating in reverse. All right, so naturally, first thing I want to do is check transmission fluid. Transmission fluid wound up being low. I had a series of codes, but I'm only going to address the complaints. There were some codes in regards to the transmission, but all was pertaining to the low fluid. So there was some torque converter lockup issues and some shift solenoid stuck off or on. Those are all related to transmission fluid problems. So that's the first thing you would typically want to check. And if your fluid is low, change the fluid or either add fluid. I do have some videos in my archive in regards to this. Not this particular car, but torque converter lockup issues related to contaminated fluid. I just did that on Toyota Camry, so you probably want to check that. It was like a few videos back. But anyway, I'm gonna show you how to check this fluid. This car now does operate in reverse as it should. Now, logically, you would imagine, well, why is the dipstick higher at this highest point with the transmission, and you have to check the fluid so you don't submerge the entire transmission clutch packs and everything with transmission fluid. I didn't build this transmission, so I'm just giving you my synopsis of what I think. It is straight up conjecture here. But when I looked at, pulled this dipstick out, here. If I can get it to focus, I'm gonna have to get a rag. Inside of here, right down there, just like a silo, like this little cylinder here, the fluid will puddle in there. When I pulled it this morning just to check it, it was dry. And when I started up real quick, it filled itself with fluid. So logically, I was thinking, okay, initially when I started up, maybe this fluid gets sloshed around based off the rotation of some of the clutch packs or housings or whatever, I don't know. And it determines the level, but logically that didn't make any sense. So I think what happens, it pulls the fluid up to a certain amount depending on how much is in there, and it fills this chamber up, and it'll fill up to a certain amount dependent on the original place it was pulling fluid from. So this is totally out my league as far as the physics, but it does something to that degree. So I'm gonna start it up. Like I said, the transmission worked now. Let me see if I can get, let me show you. It shows on here where the fluid needs to be cold. You need to check this fluid while idle, and it specifies it on the back of this dipstick. It says add 1 pint or 0.5 liters, check in park, engine idle. And this is the fluid you use. Use Dex 3 only, do not overfill. I'm gonna be honest, I have a global fluid I'm using because I didn't know if this transmission was gonna be trashed or not. So I did use global fluid to top this fluid off. Totally fine, it'll work like it's supposed to. I'm not very particular on transmission fluid, Dexos fluid, things of that nature. So, all right, let's start it up. I'm gonna show you that it's pooling, and I'm gonna show you how to add the fluid in there. And check it. It is low, so I'm gonna add about a quart in there, get it to the cold mark, and recheck it. Put the dipstick in, lock it closed, and pull it back out. So right there by the cold. You can see what my level is. So I'm gonna let it sit here and warm up for a while. So when it becomes hot, it should be in those crosshatches there. I'm gonna add just a little bit more so I can get it right at that cold line. You see right here. This is a first startup, probably still an open loop. Open loop meaning that it hasn't reached normal operating temperatures yet, and it's like in a default mode. Dipstick back in there, screw it down. Pull it back out. So yeah, I'm right at the line there. So logically, I'd imagine once I let this warm up, it should be at the crosshatches. I'm gonna take it on the drive because I gotta make sure this transmission works before I get back to the customer and make sure it engages in reverse and then there isn't any leaks. So I'll be back when I get it warmed up. I just got back, just went a mile. I'm gonna check the fluid level. See what I got going on. Now I will say I do smell fluid. I do see fluid draining. So there's an oil leak somewhere. I'm gonna have to hop under there and check to see where this oil leak's coming from. So if it's circulated, it's a little lower. It's there instead of up here. I'm gonna add some more fluid in there. It should be fully warmed up and get it by those crosshatches. Also, it might have I believe it might have a front pump leak, and that's kind of jumping the gun a little bit. But it is an oil leak under here. Not sure if it's a rear main seal or a front pump seal, but for this to be so low on transmission fluid, it's the only logical explanation. And put it in drive and reverse. Should be fine now. I'll put quite a bit in there. I'm not mad if I overfill it just a little bit. Get that dipstick down as far as it'll go. Pull that out. Yeah, it's close. It's close to the hot mark. Man, it looks like a gallon I would have been put in there. So where the dipstick sits, the housing, it recesses. So it's a cylinder there, but it's designed where the further it go up towards the seating area with the cap here, it starts to narrow. And it looked like as long as it's above the flared area, I think it looked like that's where the full mark will be. All right, after a while letting it drive, the damn thing ran out of gas. So looking for a leak, I wound up finding one, but it's not nothing major. It's not pouring out or anything, but when I looked at the transmission cooler line is leaking a little bit, and I want to see if I can show you. It's up there.
There's the leak. But it's not bad. It's just over the course of probably several weeks, months. So like over the course of several weeks and months, it eventually just started leaking and getting this lower area wet here. That red fluid is transmission fluid. It looked brownish red, but it's red.
All right, so the leak was definitely coming from a cooler line. I was able to see it a little bit better from the driver's side here. Look up in the wheel well. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna let the customer know what we got going on, that the fluid is definitely leaking from a cooler. That cooler line don't see none of the pressures drive, reverse. You know, they can go up to about 100 plus PSI of oil pressure, fluid pressure. So it's not gonna see that. More than likely, once the cars in drive or moving, despite the engine running like a sewing machine, it'll cause that leak to exacerbate. It'll exacerbate that problem. You know, the fluid will start pouring out as a result, what I'm thinking. Or if it just hits at the right point, at the right time, under the right conditions, it'll leak. But it seemed like it was a small leak over time, and that's how it accumulated on the pan there. This is not a repair video. I know I'm like dragging this out, and we just simply went from checking fluid. This is how one of my videos like 45 minutes all the time. But it's related. But if you have a leak, if your transmission fluid's low, you likely have a leak somewhere, especially when this transmission hasn't been serviced or touched. You know, you do have some evaporative loss, but it's not going to be dropping that fluid level to the point it is. I think this vehicle got like 110,000, something like that miles. I have to look. But I'm going to let the customer know what we got going on, see what he want to do. Let me show you the codes real quick that I have. This is my spare scan tool, the MP808. These were the code. No, I took a screenshot. Let me go back to, I forgot how to access this because I really don't. Data manager. I think it's in images. Should have been this one. Nope, not this one. Bear with me here. I know I put under their name, review data, Lexus, Honda, PDF. There you go, read history. It should be it here. I had it under their name. This is it. Yeah. Caddy. I put it on the Caddy or something, but this is it. I can't remember how to access all of them, but these were the codes: manifold lap super pressure circuit, secondary air injection, fluid level, the fuel level. Definitely that doesn't work. Vehicle speed sensor. That's probably pertaining to the low fluid conditions. Incorrect gear ratio. Yeah, fluid related. Second gear fluid related. Torque converter clutch stuck off, definitely fluid related. P0741, definitely a correlation with fluid issues in some cases. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let the customer know what we got going on. Expo report, some other stuff. Yeah, I don't know what in the world the other stuff got going on. Let him know what we got, see how you want to handle that. This car didn't have any check engine light codes once I cleared everything and drove it. So I'm pretty sure everything was related to just simply put loss of pressure because of low fluid level. And we'll go from there. But hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, had a reassurance of my work. See you on the next one.